Yo, oh yeah, 最 combination body hood go Vulcan.
Yeah, Hiromi's back and has been working behind the scenes.
When the skyship was going down, Hiromi called in a favor to evacuate the ship so no one on board at least wouldn't die. Anyone on the ground that got Thanos, yeah, they're dead. Hiromi didn't actually lose his memories too. He just lied because he couldn't take anything with Phoenix anymore. And now that he can't fight, he's better off staying on the sidelines.
But with the danger as big as it's getting now, he can't ignore it and wants to save Daiji from becoming someone he's not, since Daiji's been slowly siding with Giff. But back on topic, this is episode 38. Now, without Akemi, Genta volunteers to have his gift cells removed instead while everyone's out fighting. The surgery takes a turn until Iki stops the surgery himself, not wanting his dad to die. But instead, the Giffard Rex Vice stamp becomes sentient? I don't know how it does. I'm guessing it's a matter of the power of the devil itself, but that was just random. It turns out the reason why the Giffard Rex became sentient is because it is actually complete and it's going back to, well, Gift. But the only way to stop it is to break it apart for both Iki and Vice to use. And I'm sorry, that was just weird. Like, honest to God, it's weird. Like, the very last thing that needed to be done was bring it apart. And George couldn't have just done that.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
But now we have our final form, Ultimate Revice. Now, this form alone, I love it. The fact that Vice gets his own Revice driver to transform, I love it. The fact that they get the power of magnetism, I love it. Because, like what I said, the Giffard Rex was returning to Gift as if it was attracted to it like a magnet. I love it. The one thing, however, I don't love is the look. I get that final forms from now on are starting to be a bit more simplistic, but this just didn't do it for me. It's definitely not because of the colors. I think it's because it's a bit too much. I understand that it's the final form at all, but it doesn't do it for me. And so, I haven't really talked a lot about Weekend as of yet. For a secret organization, the most they have are shelters and, I guess, an army, but they don't become more effective until George mass produces the Demon's drivers to create the Demon's troopers. Basically, if you've seen the Zek troopers from Kabuto, they're basically that with demons and, well, Veil's helmets, basically. And so, by this point, Daiji has completely switched sides, thinking there's no chance of them beating Gift, and so he's siding with Akiyashi.
In the next episode 2, Daiji leads an assault on Weekend's safe haven for civilians. He tries to convince everyone that siding with Gift is the answer for My goodness! The public in a tokusatsu show aren't being stupid for once, and aren't believing the villains?
It was death. Who does that? You're not the ocean.
To be fair, when you side with the people who can summon monsters to harm and kill people, simply for not agreeing with them, you lose credibility.
Honest to God, if Republicans and Democrats had access to military power, this would be the outcome.
Episode 40. While Iki and Vice go see Daiji, Akihashi attacks Weekend, taking on his gift demos form. And so Sakura, Hana, and Hikaru all get curved by him. Ninja Dad soon tells them to retreat, but Overdemon stays to stall gift demos. And sadly, well, Ninja Dad died. Yeah, I was about to say too, the fake mom died a couple episodes too. I think possibly last episode. But yeah, both parents are dead. Sad. But while we're at it too, I just want to talk about how no one in this show seems to grieve. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, when the fake mom died, only one person bothers to grieve, and it's Tamaki. But then Aguilar walks up to him and say, "Snap out of it, we gotta get back to work." Like, who got stuck covering her shift Friday night? Because, I'm sorry, I just found that to be weird. They don't bother to take a minute, a few minutes, an hour. No one, like, Weekend at 8, like, HR at Weekend doesn't want to talk about it? Or, that's just, why wouldn't they want to do that? Just, episode 41, Gif is now tired of waiting so long, and by the end of the episode, he's going to take action himself. Also, Vale is dying. Like, now for Vale, absorbing Vice stamps isn't working for him anymore. But before he dies, Genta and Masumi want to settle things with Vale. For Masumi, it's because he brought Vale to life. And for Genta, it's of course because Vale is his demon. And so, episode 42, it opens the best way ever. The episode begins playing the theme song in the background. Awesome. And Masumi creates the Crimson Veil driver. Well, not the Crimson Veil driver. Masumi creates the Crimson Veil Vice stamp for Veil. Don't worry, it's done within reason. And George builds for Genta the Deathstream driver. They have their battle, and it's KamenRider Crimson Veil versus KamenRider Deathstream. Crimson Veil, it's just Jack Revice, but with red highlights to resemble Spider. Not the biggest fan of it. But Deathstream, however, it looks a bit top-heavy, but not bad. I think it's totally fine. If I can be fully honest right now, I think I prefer KamenRider Veil a bit more. It just looks better in my opinion. And so, while Deathstream and Crimson Veil are having their fight, Akihashi crashes it, and Iki and Vice finally kill him. And thankfully, thank goodness, because, to be fair, Ultimate Revice is Ultimate Revice, so there's no escaping it, literally. And so, Deathstream and Veil's fight, I think it was so creatively written, because you see them as riders, and then in their heads, they're back at the scene of the fire 18 years ago. And it goes back and forth with the Revice Legacy ending theme song playing. It's giving you the feeling of this ends now. And it's so sweet. And it's so sweet, and you feel all of that when they both rider kick each other and Veil falls first. But it's not over yet. You want to know what's the best thing a writer could do for their action-based show? You remind the viewers of its themes. One of the themes of Revice is, of course, inner demons. We all have one, and we all wish we can kick them out of existence. Heck, Daiji does that. Well, he did that. And look at what became of him. Everything and everyone has a yin and yang, and one just can't exist without the other.
As Veil dies, Genta Igarashi takes the Crimson Veil Vice stamp to absorb Veil back into him, forgiving him as he's a different man than he was before.
No homo. Yes. No homo indeed.
Sadly, GIF is now out in the world, so he could take it over. So, episode 43. Not much to say, except people die. Masumi is dying. Akiyashi was brought back to life. Then he died again, except this time Daiji just walked up to him and shot him. And then he asks GIF to form a contract with him.
Stupid! You are made of stupid!
Episode 44. I have such a problem with this episode. And the problem is all Daiji. Like, up to now, any reasonable person could try to forgive Daiji, considering the circumstances at the time. But now, no. Like, Daiji is completely considered a threat to them. And they keep trying to forgive him. Like, before Daiji could make a contract with GIF, Vice jumps out of the way and stop him, which makes GIF send Vice, like, to his dimension. Dude, like, Daiji was just so beyond unlikable at this point, and I wanted him to get defeated some way or another. Like, you don't have to kill him, but break his driver to not give him a means to transform. Like, honest to God, it's just so annoying. And you want to know the tip of the iceberg with this? Everyone makes up in this episode, but it's Hiromi who makes Daiji realize his mistakes. I need to throw something. Like, I can't even, fuck. His siblings have tried to reach out to him multiple times. He has one fight with Hiromi. Bam! What have I done?
Anywho, Daiji's realization has him realize that he needs his yang to be yin. He needs Kagero, who comes back to life immediately. Because remember, when they fought and Kagero died, Daiji was still able to transform. So obviously, Kagero may not have fully died. He instead went back to being repressed inside of Daiji.
And with the host and demon back together, we now have our next final form. The combination of evil and live, KamenRider Evility Live. This is not a grammar channel, people. But this suit... Looking at this suit now, it's kind of weird because you have the baby blue armor, but teal undersuit. Like, it'd be different if it was baby blue at the bottom too, or better. Maybe the chest armor now should be teal-ish. Like, it just looks like a clash of colors going on. Like, especially up top. Like, That's what I feel about the suit. It's pretty It's just, it feels like it kind of looks like now two different suits just clashing together, like Over Demons. Except here it's a lot more, actually it's on the same level as Noticeable. It's Harm. Though I will admit, there's one interesting thought I had while looking at Evil Live. Evil's suit is black, Live's suit is white, and together, the undersuit at least is gray because Evil, good, now both together. That was just something that came to my mind. But yeah, this suit is Harm? Don't know what to say, just Harm? And so, Vice comes back too, I think because Gift kicked him out. Maybe he annoyed him out. I don't know. But with Evility Live's help, Revice sends Gift back to his dimension and traps him back there. And now, about Gift's dimension, yes, it's basically hell, but when you see how dark it is, it kind of resembles the human body, inside at least, because people are inside in like cocoons resembling blood cells. And in one of those cocoons that escapes is Olteca, which we'll talk about later.
As for George in this episode, his dad's on his last breath, and George has spent his time not seeing him until it's too late and his dad is gone. As soon as he walks in, he missed his last words, and you see it in his eyes. He instantly regrets it.
Episode 45, Gift comes back and starts wreaking havoc, reviving monsters and so on. Episode 46, Iki and Daiji think about last episode and come to the conclusion that Gift's dimension is his weakness, because while Gift's physical form is out here, the stone that the dead man's always hung up in their base is in Gift's dimension, being his source of power. So with that in mind, they form a plan, and Sakura gets a new form from a Vice stamp that comes out of nowhere. It literally just came out of nowhere. Like, Love Cove has, since last episodes, been wanting to fight with Sakura and has been involving, but the Vice stamp literally came out of nowhere. Like, mind you, with Daiji, his final form Vice stamp just transformed right in front of him. But to be fair, mysticism and all, like, all that was a matter of, like, mysticism, but here, she just has it now. And so, KamenRider Invincible Jean. This is where both Jean and Love Cove basically become one. I personally didn't think she needed a final form. She was just powerful as she was. Because this one looks silly, to say the least. Especially with the braids going down. Because, I'm sorry, X8 called and he wants his hairstyle back. But instead of dreadlocks, these are literally braids with blades at the bottom. Because she literally whips her hair back and forth to slice you. And so, the suit, it's just weird. The final battle with the three of them versus Gift, it makes sense to me. Not because it's the main rider, the secondary rider, and the tertiary rider. It's because they're family. This all technically started with their family, and it ends with their family defeating the final boss.
And with that, the world is saved, and everything is all over. Or rather, everything should be all over. George, what are you up to?